So Skip, you talked about the mission and vision statements that are discovered, they're discerned rather than brought to the situation. Well, how do you discover a vision statement that fits your ministry and your youth ministry, especially in a larger church context?
Yeah, that's a great question, Alan. Thank you. You know, we all know how this too often goes. You show up at a church and they have some mission statement somebody crafted together 20 years ago, which really didn't even undertake to ask the most deep discerning questions, but picked it out of somebody's mission statement book or crafted what they thought they ought to do, or just copied over the church mission statement and edited the line so it applied to the youth ministry. Or worse, there's no mission statement at all for either the church or the youth ministry. And even in the circumstances such as those that you might find when you go into youth ministry, it's tempting to say, you know, I had a wonderful youth ministry where I was. Why don't I bring in the youth ministry from the church I was at, right? Or you might get into your youth ministry and the pastor says, I really need a youth ministry vision statement, and you spend all night working on it the night before the Christian Education Committee meeting or something like that so you can bring it. And this fundamentally ignores the insight that Collins and Porras and Doug Fields and Mark DeVries and others have shared with us, that it is essentially a spiritual discernment question. So if you know it's a spiritual discernment question, then again, the point is to start with why questions in that context for those people. Not what do we think we should be, not what did I do before, not would somebody be proud of if we could accomplish it, but actually what is authentically our core value. So what both the secular analysts say and the theological analysts say is the first thing is to come into a community and just forget about bringing with you the mission statement from your last community, and just forget about staying up late at night and imposing a mission statement. You've got to collect all the principal stakeholders, the ones who know the culture well and know the values of the culture well and the aspirations of the culture well, and you need to get them on a retreat, or you need to get them on in a weekend series of meetings. You need to give them a chance to pray about it, to talk about it, to reflect about it, and dig down with those why questions. To not craft what's important to you, but to discern what's important to you. What are the core values that must never change? Later you worry about the practices that should always change. So what the folks who've studied this want to come up with is they want to come up with a process by which you get your stakeholders together. If there is a vibrant, vital church mission statement that does truly reflect the core values and the highest aspirations of that congregation, well, if at all possible, your mission statement for your youth ministry should align with the church's, because this is the body of Christ of which you are a part, not some separate entity. But if there is either no mission statement or a mission statement that doesn't really reflect the core purpose and values and aspirations of that church, then you need to start. And when you get those folks off on a retreat, again, the question is series of process questions, which you can get out of Mark DeVries' book on sustainable youth ministries, or you can get out of Doug Fields' book on purpose-driven youth ministry, or you can get out of the collections of things that have been generated by Jim Collins. Get your folks together and ask, why do we exist? Why did I get called into youth ministry in the first place? What am I truly passionate about? Why do we want young people in the building? Keep pressing the why question. Why do we want to do that? Okay, then why do we even want to do that? Then why do we want to do that? As you press the why questions, you will be driven from what you think you're supposed to say to what you really deeply care about. And once you illuminate that spiritually discerned ultimate purpose, core values that you would never give up over 100 years, you wouldn't give them up even if they weren't working, you wouldn't give them up even if you weren't getting paid to do your work, you just believe them in your bones. This is why you come to work. When you get those core values, you have the beginning of your mission statement.